Then the front edge of the board caught the water. In an instant, the insides of my sinuses and mouth became one with the lake. Not a great feeling. And that's the last time I ever wakeboarded. The risk that at any moment I could faceplant on the surface of the water at 20 miles per hour wasn't worth it to me. Next, I tried tubing, a much safer option. The concept of tubing is so hilarious to me. Whoever came up with this idea is an absolute mad lad. You tie a rope between the tube and a motorboat, hop on, and hang on for dear life. No red flags there. My mom, brothers, and I got on a big tube and were having the time of our lives. But then we saw a huge wave heading towards us. It launched us into the air and the bottom of the tube caught the wind and the tube started flying. My mom seriously did a cartwheel on the surface of the water. Needless to say, she has since lost her taste for tubing. I, however, was just getting started. Despite the pain of wiping out, the adrenaline of trying not to die while going over bumps and being whipped side to side was too intoxicating to ignore. And like a middle schooler after a bad breakup, I was ready to be hurt again. Me and my brothers were on the tube having the time of our lives when Mom turned a bit too sharply one way, then the other. The rope caught a bunch of slack and the tube slowed down. But the boat was still going, and I knew that the rope was about to gain tension and whiplash us. I sped ran the stages of grief in my mind and braced for the inevitable. The tube went from stationary to top speed in an instant. Our bodies couldn't keep up and it whipped out from under us. But that didn't stop me. After despite the air, I kicked Dad into Braden, sending them both into the water.
This isn't sci-fi. This is precision AI.
Hi, I'm Ange. This is my gardening business. Come on, ladies. It's not that far to jump. Much lower than the last van. So basically, you've got grass, I've got goats. Haven't I, Jeffrey?
Hi, I'm Bryson, and I have a lot of siblings. Naturally, I've already made videos about them and slandered their names. Don't worry, Mom and Dad will get their chance on the slander spotlight soon. In the meantime, I decided to compile all my favorite stories about my siblings. Please enjoy the Sibling Saga. Hey, Brenner, if you jump off this cliff right now, I'll give you a penny. Oh. Hi, I'm Bryson, and a while ago I made a video. But that got me thinking about the other injuries in my family, and one sibling came to mind, one who had dodged the grasp of death more times than I can count, the sibling who had little to no regard for his own mortality and would regularly hurt himself, the wild child, if you will, the youngest brother, Brenner. This is gonna be a long video, because Brenner gets injured a lot. I don't want to cut out good stories or do a part. Now, almost all of Brenner's injuries were self-inflicted. However, I think it's only right we start the video with Brenner's very first injury, the one he got from me.
Brenner had recently been born, and my parents invited me into their room to say hi to my new baby brother. As I said hello to him, he reached out his hand and scratched my chest. Now, obviously, Brenner was just a baby. He had no control of his body and was just moving around. But my 4-year-old brain could not let this slide. How dare you? First, you come into my house, take my spot as the cute youngest child, and take all the attention from my parents? And now this? I offered you my hand in friendship, and you attacked me. You must pay recompense for your actions.
Hey! No! Stop! Just calm down! Don't do it!
My parents tried to stop me, but it was too late. I reached out and scratched him back. He began to cry, and my parents put me in timeout. Little did Brenner know, his pain had just begun. Okay, in all seriousness, I felt really bad for what I did. Even now, I still regularly apologize to Brenner about it. But he can't even remember it, so he doesn't care. Brenner, my conscience has really been getting to me lately, and I'm so sorry about what I did.
Dude, that was 17 years ago. Can you just move on? I forgive you, okay?
Thank you. I love you, Brenner. I'm so glad I could get that off my chest. Remember in my pain video where my brother Brody slammed the door on my fingers? Apparently that experience runs in the family. Brody walked through a door as a young Brenner was sticking his fingers in the hinges, and Brody slammed the door again. Brenner's fingers bent every which way.
If I had a nickel for every time I slammed a sibling's fingers in the door, I'd have 2 nickels. That isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Luckily, Brenner's fingers didn't break, and the doctors fixed him up. Feel better soon, buddy, and don't get into any more trouble.
I will make no such promises.
One time, me and Brenner were playing tag, and rather than be tagged by me, he jumped into a busy street and a car barely avoided him. I guess Brenner was more willing to die than lose at tag. Would you rather die a terrible death or...
Definitely death.
Wait, you didn't hear the other option?
Death.
I genuinely don't know why he is so accident-prone, but this next story was no accident. You know how sometimes your mom has a really good friend, so she decides to make you hang out with her friend's children, but you don't like them? Yeah. When I was younger, my mom sent me and Brenner to play with the neighbor kids, Jake and Steven. The main reason I didn't like Jake was because he said, "Your sister is so hot." Brittany was 18. Jake and I were 8. Have you considered shutting up? Anyways, I spent the day tolerating Jake's shenanigans, but eventually I hid from him on the front porch and watched Brenner and Steven play in the front yard. "Come here, Brenner, I want to show you something." Brenner walked up to him, Steven grabbed his hand, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a pair of scissors and started cutting Brenner's fingers.
Stop!
I ran over to them to check on Brenner. His fingers were bleeding and he was crying. I slapped the scissors out of Steven's hand, grabbed him by the arm, and forced him inside to his mom. "Hey, Steven just cut Brenner's fingers with scissors." Oh, Steven. What? That's it? I was shocked. Call my mom right now so she can pick us up. We're leaving. We left and Brenner's fingers healed just fine.